Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for clicking on here, and hopefully you're enjoying your Saturday or Sunday, I should say, as this email comes out Sunday evenings. So, I wanted to talk to everybody a little bit about storms and storms that pop up. This last week, there was a windstorm that came by the school and knocked down some trees, and it was actually pretty scary. It took a tree out between us and Holy Rosary there, and it fell down and cracked at the base of the tree. So it was a powerful, powerful wind, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. I was sitting up in the new admissions office, and all of a sudden we saw the toppling of a tree. And that's kind of an interesting segue, and also interesting kind of vision for me as I'm looking through, what are some other storms that we've walked through in our lives, right? Physical storms, right? I lived in the Bay Area, and an earthquake that came in the World Series time. I think it was 90 or 89 or something like that, and it was really scary. Knocked me to my feet. Knocked me to the ground, I should say, off my feet. And so, these things come out of the blue sometimes, and we're not really ready for them. And the Bible talks a little bit about the storms as well. In the book of Matthew, chapter 8, starting in verse 23, it gives us kind of a story that Jesus was with his disciples, and he was on a boat, and they were just traveling from one area to another. And the disciples were up, and Jesus was sleeping soundly, and a storm arose on this lake. And it was a huge storm. It was very scary. And so they woke Jesus and asked him to do something because they were scared for their lives. And in that story, Jesus calms the storm. But there's a method to how he does that. He actually gives us some things to think about when storms arise in our lives. Not just physical storms that weather creates, but maybe some other things that happen in our hearts and our minds for us. So I really want us to think through that, and maybe understand that Jesus walks us through all kinds of things, and he takes us through these things when we connect with him. Sometimes we're so busy in our storms, and we're so active, and we're so nervous or frustrated or even scared that we forget to reach out to a God that loves us tremendously, actually. Loves us more than anything we have ever felt. And he loves us so much that he wants us to be kind of trusting in him when all these things arise. Now, obviously, we can look at COVID, and we can look at the different things that we're going through. And trusting in Jesus is how I walk through those. But, it's interesting. He was sleeping on the boat soundly. And that kind of gives us an analogy that, when we're restful and when we're quiet and we take time, that's when we can hear what Jesus is saying to us. So it's hard in the middle of a storm to be quiet and calm. But maybe, just maybe, we can take some time to do that and hear what Jesus has to say to us. God is love. God is good. God is God. Go Saints.